Hi everybody, Alec Fall Hamilton here, and I'm going to tell you about my piece, Giraffe Geometry. So this is a finished picture. First I'm going to rewind to the earlier stage. Here we have a look at what I like to have underneath the surface of every painting I make, which is I'll make some sort of geometric grid. I like to combine with that some chaotic, playful, sort of wild, drippy paint strokes so that I have that balance of chaos and order from the very beginning. I have a tendency to get pretty detail-oriented and really want to be perfectionistic with my paintings, so I'll intentionally involve some of that chaos and the messy playfulness, especially in the beginning of the painting. As the painting moves along, it becomes harder and harder for me to do that, because I like to get into those details. So here you can see in the orange circles, you can see in the center, and the center of those snowflake patterns is the seed of life, which is the 7 circles that is the creation pattern which was discovered by many ancient cultures all over the world and is the fundamental form of sacred geometry, the beginning, the seed. So from the seed, we extrapolate out, still with the orange circles, and we find the fruit of life. The fruit of life is the next step that can come from the seed. And what we can do with the fruit of life is we have those 13 circles, so those are in a snowflake shape. And if we take the center of each one of those circles and connect it with the center of every other circle in that 13, we get Metatron's cube, which is a magical form of sacred geometry. I'm going to talk more about that later. Right now, focusing on the giraffe geometry. So you can see that I've connected those 2 fruits of life with the diagonal lines, and those are in blue, dark blue. So I got those diagonal lines and also the horizontal lines, which I'm using the seed of life and the fruit of life to find that structure. From that, you can also see the beginning of an isometric grid, which is the equilateral triangles that are forming, that are also formed in the dark blue. So that's the first layer. So now I'm starting to play with which parts of that geometry do I want to still be visible and which parts are going to be hidden away. So I've covered up some of it and I've accentuated some of the dark blue lines, the isometric grid, and I've pushed back a lot of that orange. So it's underneath the surface. The structure is still there, but I'm covering up a lot of it and accentuating also some of those horizontal lines. Here you can see that I got into some more detail with the giraffes, starting to get some of those hexagon patterns both on the giraffe and also up in the sky, because with the seed of life, the fruit of life, and also the isometric grid, we can find some really nice hexagons of different sizes. Hexagon, one of my favorite shapes. I really love the hexagon. So much love for the hexagon. I could talk all day about them, but I'm not going to do that right now. I've also brought in some horizontal lines and some new colors. Some of those are colors that I derived from the landscape, sort of playing off of the color themes from the African savanna and the giraffes. And then also just thought about which ones might look nice with those colors. So I'll take the theme of the landscape and the animal I'm using, and then I'll extrapolate out in different directions, see what color combinations are going to be nice with that. You can see a lot of the orange is covered up now, but I've come back over it with some silver. I think it's actually metallic blue on top of that, accentuating some of that isometric grid with those horizontal, diagonal, and vertical lines. Then here it's just about finished. I've covered up quite a bit of that, or almost all of that old orange, but you can see that the structure is still there. And now the fruit of life has come back. And what that is that's directly above the main giraffe. 13 circles, and those are now in silver or metallic blue. And that's one of the magical forms where if you find the center of each one of those 13 circles, connect it with the center of every other circle, you'll find Metatron's cube. And Metatron's cube is the key to revealing all of the forms of the Platonic solids. So that's an amazing magical thing that you can do with that. Also brought out some brighter colors and a little bit of shading, gradients. I like to do gradients because they're just nice. They're appealing to the eye. Got into some more detail with the giraffes and also made it so the lines are kind of going back behind the giraffe that's in the front and coming in front of the ones that are further back. So creating some depth with that. And here's the finished piece. I think that one basically just has better light on it, as far as I can tell. A little bit about the symbolism of the giraffe. What do we see when we see the giraffe? We see an extremely tall animal. They're an animal that has a different perspective from any other animal because we could say that they have an elevated perspective. You can see, especially with the tallest giraffe, the father figure, you can kind of see his lines of vision coming out in that one horizontal line and diagonal line. And one of the things I like to think about with the giraffe is the ability to see from an elevated perspective while staying grounded, while keeping your feet on the ground. And this is a really magical lesson for us to consider as humans, especially when working on our spiritual evolution or whatever kind of way that we're evolving. We want to be able to see far, be able to see from the higher perspective while keeping our feet on the ground, staying humble. So that's the magic in the giraffe geometry painting. I'm going to be giving away a canvas print of this painting, so you could win one of those canvas prints by entering the raffle. It's a $10 fee to enter the raffle, but you get 4 spirit animal stickers just for entering. So really what you're doing is buying some cool stickers and possibly winning yourself a giraffe. So that's a lot of fun. I'll post a link to that. And also you can get prints in any size or medium of this piece, Giraffe Geometry, on my website, narwhal.com, and I'll also leave a link to that below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.